Unbelievable. It looks so alive. We were promised a frozen wasteland, but what if future generations could live here someday?
Aphelion, the latest game from Don't Nod, has not exactly got off to a great start in terms of sales or critical reception. By now, we are used to not expecting huge sales numbers for Don't Nod games, but their previous titles, Lost Records, Banishers, and Jusant, all had better critical reception at launch. Over time, some of them even went on to get warm reviews from fans who discovered these titles during a sale or in a subscription service. With Aphelion, the conversation seems to be a bit different. Even some people who have played previous Don't Nod titles are complaining about the slow pace, the lack of meaningful gameplay, and the general tone of the game. As for me, I too have a few complaints about the slow pace, the lack of meaningful gameplay, and the general tone of the game. Beyond the complaints, however, I will still urge you to try this game because it takes the time to ask some big questions. Why are humans bent on destroying the only planet that currently supports life? If we somehow discover that another planet can support us, will we eventually end up destroying that one too? Beyond the questions, I like the game because it tries something different. Admittedly, the experiment did not succeed for me, but I'm always willing to see games try something different. Here, you play as two astronauts who have crash landed on an alien planet. They are separated and must find their way back to each other, all the while trying to stick to their mission objective, which is to find out if the planet, called Persephone, can support human life. It doesn't take long for them to discover that the planet has water, which is always a good sign. But they are also curious how that is possible because all their data suggested that this was a frozen wasteland. The two astronauts have two different playstyles. When we play as Ariane, there is a lot of jumping around and general platforming stuff, as well as some tedious and annoying stealth stuff. When playing as Thomas, there's more of a survival element, which I immediately turned off because the game gave me an option to do so. There's no direct combat in the game, which means the gameplay boils down to exploration, some general puzzle solving, and looking for collectibles, some of which tell you the story in bits and pieces. Since this game was developed in collaboration with the European Space Agency, there's a hint of realism as well. The astronauts are constantly recording a log of their progress and discoveries, and they do so in a flat tone, which may be how it's done in real life, but for a video game, it feels a bit dull. The planet itself is quite stunning, and if I had an option to just turn off the platforming and explore it at my leisure, I would have loved to do so. Even then, the fun wouldn't have lasted long because there isn't anything to do on the planet. Apart from one scary creature called the Nemesis, who shows up whenever things get too slow, there's no one else around you. So after a while, even the pretty visuals can't hide the fact that it takes some effort to stay with the game. But like I said, beyond the complaints, I would still recommend this game for the risk it takes. It has a short runtime of around 6 hours, even faster if you turn off the survival element, and by removing the shooting that we usually find in such games, it gives you the time to focus on the questions that the story raises. And imagine what it would be like to be all alone on an alien planet with no guarantee that you will survive to tell your tale. Back on planet Earth, I sincerely hope Don't Nod gets back to the glory days of Life is Strange when their work was not just appreciated but also brought in enough money to keep the lights on. Thanks for watching.